very excited about that. So welcome to my home studio. Today I wanted to kind of go through a number of topics. So I want to look at my multimedia studio here, show you my setup, where I'm going, and why I think you should have something if you are engaging more online. I'm going to go through some of my websites, platforms, technologies that I've been using lately to kind of sell and market myself. And then my portfolio, an update on where that's heading. It's my personal portfolio project I've been working on for several years now. So let's go into creating engaging work environments. I'm sharing my screen right now, and this is my Zoom meeting. So typically with a Zoom meeting, there's only so much you can do. It's or any platform, whether it's Microsoft Teams, Zoom, WebEx, you can go on and on. The general purpose of these meetings is to create video, screen share, and they might have some built-in tools. In this case, Zoom has a built-in polling tool. The breakout rooms have been really cool and engaging. But when you want to engage just in a large mass audience way, you got to start getting creative and using different tools. And so let's start with my physical setup right here. I think of online meetings as just a way of entertainment. So get out of the mindset that online meetings should be really boring. It should be based on the educational model. Think of it as the Netflix series that you can't stop watching. Why can't you watch? Can't stop watching because the content is so engaging. You just want to go to the next one. And so what I've done in this space here is I have my main camera, a camera here, a camera over here filming the environment. I have my screen share, and at some point in the future, I might have a third or fourth camera creating multiple angles. I don't have the physical device yet, but I'm working on getting a Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro, which is an HDMI switcher. So when I'm doing these online meetings, I can dynamically switch between different cameras. For this purpose, this is done in post in Final Cut Pro. So that's the meeting participation meeting platform there. Let me go into one of the first tools that I use. It's called Miro. This used to be called Real-Time Board, and it is a virtual whiteboard. So think of it as an infinite digital whiteboard space, and you can zoom in to different aspects of it, go in and out. And when I'm creating engaging meetings, what I can then do is go to a certain area, and it creates kind of that visual reminder of where we're at in the topics. You can then pull in sticky notes and engage in online sticky note dot voting exercises. One of the downsides is, you got to get people familiar with this interface. What I typically do is when I'm hosting and facilitating, at least on the technology side, is I run the mural itself. I'm the person navigating, I'm the person moving it, I'm listening to what people are doing, and then I'm posting it up. Similar to when you're doing it in an online meeting, you might have the facilitator who's virtually up there the whole time doing things and getting less engagement. There's two ways of doing it. One, as the facilitator, you do all of it, or two, you get people to stand up and get to the board. So on the virtual world, you can either give them a license or add them in as a guest, and guests can then contribute and engage in that way. The second tool I've been using quite a bit is Poll Everywhere. So you may have gone through an event where people have given you a URL to log in, and you can submit your submissions, and you might get a word cloud. Poll Everywhere has different polling tools that's available. I think the built-in for Zoom or any of these platforms is pretty limited. So if you're starting out with a warm-up exercise, a clickable image might be where are you from, if you're doing a globally distributed or virtual distributed team. And people can kind of click on where they're at. Let's take a look at what other things that they have within this platform. I like the voting, the upvote, so we can vote ideas up and down, submission, emotion scale. I love this. How are you feeling today? Which is simple, 1 to 5 scale. Discussion, you can post things in. I think the word cloud is pretty popular. Not a huge fan of it. Bulletin boards, leaderboards, upvotes, icebreakers, one word to describe yourself. The platform itself is okay, but I think what's different is you're engaging in a different way. Rather than going straight into a Zoom meeting and just continuing for a long period of time, you can go into this platform, have people shift into a different space and think differently. I like also just meetings where you're shifting to a Google Doc, shifting to another component, going in out breakout rooms, hanging up, do some work, and coming back is another technique. There's just a lot of different ways of doing it. So that's creating engaging meetings. And I've been doing quite a bit of that. I'm building out a physical space to make that work. So the next thing I want to share is just I've been building my site. So 1980, my main site, I officially moved it over from WordPress to Webflow. Webflow is a leading platform that's used by a lot of startups and the no-code movement, people that are building things without building code. It's an incredibly powerful platform. Lots of tweaks and things you can do to a site. So you can check this out right here. I like that little animation that comes up here for these things that's just scrolling down. The images pop out. And you can tweak and tailor basically anything and everything on this site. And so let's go into the back end so you can see here's 3 sites I'm working on. One's a test one. Here's the main site. You open up the designer. And the only downside of Webflow is think of it as the first time you've opened up Photoshop. It is just full of menus. There's every setting that you can be configured. So it makes the learning curve is incredibly steep. But once you figure it out, it is incredibly powerful. So let me click on this image here. And you can see all these settings that you can do here. You can adjust the padding, how much spacing is done there. You can adjust every element of the type. Apply different effects like shadows, transitions, filters, just everything you can think of, you can do. So virtually anything you can imagine, you can create within this tool, which is why it's incredibly difficult. Here's the back end of the content management system that I use for the content. And so this is just the forms that are filled out here. I fill here and hit publish. It creates the page within Webflow. My membership site is also built on Webflow. And for those tracking along, my membership site is a space where I'm publishing proprietary information to my closest supporters and customers here. And so again, also built on Webflow. There's some other tools in the back end that does the payment processing and membership processing here as well. But you can come check out this site and you can sign up by clicking here. Right now it's $250 for a lifetime membership. Definitely check this out if you're interested, 1980.io. Now, I've been doing a lot of personal branding over the years. I have a physical, here's my physical portfolio, right? So it's a deck of cards. It has all the example work products that I've done in the past. That's the physical version. Now I wanted to build a digital version. I've created different versions of that. And let's start with the most popular one on LinkedIn. It was just this visual resume that I sketched. Got 10,000 views, really popular on LinkedIn, but I needed a way to share the breadth and depth of my experience. And so if you go to portfolio.danielhuang.com, I got this WordPress template from that portfolio book, which I'll show you just in a little bit. It came with a purchase, and it gives you just a really quick and easy WordPress template that you can use to apply to your site, or you can pay for a monthly subscription service. Here's just an example of all my work within this space. And you can click on it. Let me click on this one right here. And it pops up just a little more information with the roles I played, what kind of deliverables I created. Now, this portfolio is inspired by this book called That Portfolio Book, done by Dan Petty, Chris Molitor in the back end for the technology side. I'm logged in right now, so you can get a back end preview of what the book looks like. Here's the table of contents, which is just a long laundry list of different topics. And what I like about this whole thing is each book, each chapter has an audio version, so you can listen to it if you're into audiobooks. It has a video, so you can watch. And then you can also read if you want to just be able to read quickly and scan through it. I read the whole book on my phone, and then I'm going through the videos and watching it later. So definitely go check it out, thatportfoliobook.com. The content in itself is incredibly useful. I have not gotten a chance to go through it and apply it for myself on my portfolio yet, but that's on my to-do list. A subsampling of everything that I've done so far to date. And the best way to engage with me is definitely sign up in the newsletter, which I'll link below. And from that point here in the newsletter, I'm going to be sharing information with my audience in terms of different things I'm working on. You'll get a sense of kind of the stuff that you like. And then there's different ways of engaging with me, whether it's one-on-one coaching, a consulting project, or joining the membership site where I'm going to give you proprietary information in a membership format. I appreciate you coming along with the ride. Let me know if I can send you a sticker or how I can help you. Talk to you later. Do you want to work on, like, we can share the screen versus sending it? It's, it's, no, it's on TED.com. So, that's a good test. And that's why we have these design sessions, right? So we can test out those assumptions. But is there an alternative? Is there a way for you to get around that? I think one, I don't think we can download it because they make it so you can't download it. I'm right in my home office space here, and just finished my meeting in my bedroom over there. Now that we're working from home, there's just a limitation in the spaces that are available for working, and just lots of people on the phone. It feels like an office, but this is a home and not an office. So I am playing around with some sound absorption material. I'm going to play around with kind of creating my own mats, and putting some art behind there. So I need some kind of cool fabric patterns, and we'll build my own frames. Maybe sell some. Here's my desk setup. I built this desk. From basically scrap wood. Just had some old clamps, old stuff that's been sitting around, repurposing a lot of it, and it's a big workstation, and I'm still waiting on my Blackmagic A10 Mini Pro. That's a video switcher. So at some point I'm going to be able to do training and educational programming in a much more dynamic way. So sharing the desktop, switching camera angles, switching audio sources, switching modes that I use, whether it's a physical whiteboard like back there, or I use Miro, which is an online whiteboard. And this has been a pretty cool, awesome space. And I think the next step for me is to just Marie Kondo it and declutter some of this stuff. I have just stuff up the wazoo. Also check out, got my little patch. It's made by a cool designer on Etsy. It's a iron on, now part of my sweatshirt. So rocking the 1980 Iron Man patch. All right, let's get to work. Been a busy week and I got a lot of stuff going on. So I didn't have my camera with me too much, and so I apologize for not recording much of this week. But next week is going to be a heads down week. I know it's getting into the holidays and I should be taking some time off, but we gotta get a lot of stuff done. Lots of cool stuff coming out. So appreciate you coming along, following along with this vlog. Got an email coming in. And you've been really awesome. So if you're following along with this, hit me up, send you some swag gifts for joining along. I appreciate you. Thanks.